painstaking past couple of days before the Associated Press called the presidential race for Joe Biden. And tonight, votes are still being counted. Joining us to discuss right now is USI political science professor Dr. Nicholas Larowe. Dr. Larowe, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Noah.
And Dr. Larowe, I guess we already have the majority of these results in right now, but of course, for those past several days, it has been a long wait. And of course, we have an apparent winner right now in Joe Biden for the presidency. But is historically or otherwise, is it a big deal to not have a majority of results of the election on election day?
Well, of course, that's what you want. But what a lot of people don't know is that pretty much all states are probably still counting votes. For example, California is still counting votes, and just that California really isn't in question. And so it happens to be a close race. In a couple of crucial states, they're counting votes. So far, there have been crazier elections for those people who are my age or older. You might remember Florida, when we didn't know the winner until December. So it's a close race, but really nothing that atypical about the fact that we're still counting votes.
And if the Electoral College's vote is the primary determination of who becomes president, what exactly then would be the purpose of the popular vote?
So the popular vote is how the electors in the state are given their instructions per state law. The people vote, and then whichever candidate wins the majority, those electors in 48 out of the 50 states then all vote for who the people have chosen the majority. Nebraska and Maine do it by congressional districts where they split it up a little bit, but the other 48, it's winner take all.
And obviously a lot of early voting this year amid the pandemic, Dr. Larowe, but how much do you know has that early voting maybe helped Democrats or Republicans?
Well, it's pretty clear that the early voting and the mail-in voting and the absentee voting have helped the Democratic candidates as they historically do. There was the most turnout this year in 120 years. And there were more absentee and mail-in ballots cast for obvious pandemic-related reasons. And so the Democratic Party benefited from that because they typically are more willing and able to vote in that manner than our Republicans.
And Dr. Larowe, I did want to ask you about the secretaries of state in each state. Of course, they're the top election officials there. The president, though, has said that the political leaning of each could have changed votes. Can every state trust their secretary of state to put democracy before party?
Yes, unless you have good reason to think otherwise, yes. If you want to think about this in a broader context, in a lot of states we elect judges on a partisan basis. We elect attorney generals on a partisan basis. And so they take their job very seriously. And unless there is a specific credible evidence that there is malfeasance, I don't think we have any reason to doubt them. So if we're looking at Georgia, for example, the Secretary of State there is a Republican. If he were going to help any candidate, he would be helping President Trump, but we don't see any reason to believe that's happening.
And Dr. Larowe, of course, now President Donald Trump refusing to accept these election results, even suggesting, taking some legal challenges all the way up to the Supreme Court. He was falsely claiming that the Democrats were, quote, trying to steal the election from him. Where do we go from here?
Well, we let the vote, we let the counting, and in some states, the recounting and the lawsuits go forward. Recounts, which in some states are required by law, are pretty common in close races. Lawsuits over close races are common as well, and so this is very high profile. And one of the candidates is a little bit louder about it than is typically the case. But in close races, you see this all the time. The Clinton campaign asked for recounts of several states in 2016. And again, these don't really change things. In Wisconsin, for example, Hillary Clinton's campaign asked for a recount, and out of millions of votes cast, 131 changed, and they changed in Trump's direction.
All right, political science professor Dr. Nicholas Larowe from the University of Southern Indiana. We appreciate your insight and expertise tonight, Dr. Larowe. Thank you very much.
Always happy to be here.